I never thought my hands would betray me like this. At 38, I had convinced myself the restlessness inside was just the price of a long, quiet marriage. My husband, 15 years older, treated our home like a hotel, coming and going with briefcases and polite kisses on the forehead. The spark had died years ago, leaving only routine. I filled the empty hours with laundry, grocery lists, and the occasional glass of wine too early in the evening. Then there was Ryan, my stepson, 22 now, back home after college because the job market was brutal and rent was worse. He moved with the easy confidence of someone who still believed life owed him something. Broad shoulders from years of swimming, arms that flexed whenever he reached for something on the top shelf. I noticed these things in small, guilty glances I told myself were harmless. A mother notices her son's health, right? Except he wasn't my son by blood, and the thoughts that sometimes followed weren't maternal at all. We coexisted politely at first. He'd come downstairs shirtless after a shower, towel slung low on his hips, and I'd look away too quickly. He'd ask about my day while stealing bites of whatever I was cooking, standing close enough that I could smell his clean skin mixed with cedar body wash. I started looking forward to those moments more than I wanted to admit. One Thursday his father announced another week-long trip, some conference in Chicago. The house felt bigger the moment the front door closed behind him. Ryan and I ate dinner in near silence that night, the clink of forks louder than usual. Afterward he stretched, winced, and rubbed the back of his neck. "Jim killed me today," he muttered. "Can't even turn my head without pain." I hesitated only a second. "Want me to take a look? I used to give your dad massages when he still came home sore." He gave a small laugh. "Sure. If you're offering." We moved to the living room. I told him to lie face down on the big sectional. He peeled off his t-shirt without ceremony and settled on the cushions, arms folded under his chin. The lamp cast soft gold across the wide plane of his back. Muscles shifted under tanned skin as he adjusted himself. My stomach tightened. I grabbed the bottle of lavender oil from the side table, warmed a little between my palms, and knelt beside him. The first touch was careful, professional almost. I pressed into the knots around his shoulders, thumbs circling slowly. He let out a low groan that vibrated through my fingers. "God, that's good," he said, voice muffled against his arm. I kept working, moving down the length of his spine, feeling the heat of him seep into my hands. Every slide of skin on skin felt louder than it should. My breathing changed first, shallow, unsteady. I told myself it was just the effort. Then he shifted his hips slightly, and I saw the way the waistband of his sweatpants rode low, exposing the dip above his tailbone. I swallowed hard. My thumbs traced lower, testing. He didn't stop me. The room smelled of lavender and something warmer, more dangerous. My pulse beat in my throat. I knew I should stop. I knew exactly where this line was. And then I crossed it anyway. My thumbs pressed deeper into the small of his back, right where the spine curves into shadow. The oil made everything glide too easily, too smoothly. Every circle I traced sent a quiet heat up my arms, into my chest. Ryan's breathing had changed. Slower, heavier, each exhale brushing the cushion beneath his face. I told myself I was only helping. That the way his muscles jumped under my palms was just relaxation. Lies I repeated like a prayer. "Lower," he murmured. Voice rough, barely above a whisper. I froze for half a heartbeat. My hands hovered. Then I let them drift, sliding past the waistband of his sweatpants, thumbs digging into the firm dip above his glutes. He groaned again, longer this time, almost a sigh, and the sound pulled something tight inside me. My own thighs clenched involuntarily. I could feel the dampness starting between them, shameful and undeniable. "You're really good at this," he said, turning his head just enough that I could see the corner of his mouth lift. "Better than any massage I've paid for." I laughed, too thin, too nervous. "Flattery won't get you a longer session. Worth a try." He shifted his hips again, subtle but deliberate. The movement pushed the fabric lower, exposing another inch of skin. I watched my own fingers follow the new territory, tracing the hard lines where back met ass. My pulse hammered in my ears. Every rational thought screamed to stop, to stand up, to walk away. Every other part of me wanted to keep going. He must have felt the hesitation because he spoke again, softer. "You don't have to if you're uncomfortable." The words were polite. The tone was anything but. It was invitation wrapped in permission, and it cracked the last thin wall I'd been holding up. "I'm fine," I whispered. My voice sounded foreign, husky, unsteady. I poured more oil, let it drip down the center of his back in a slow golden line. Then I straddled his thighs, not quite sitting, just close enough that my knees bracketed his hips. The position felt obscene and necessary at the same time. My palms flattened against his lower back, fingers splaying wide. I rocked forward slightly with each stroke, and the friction of my leggings against his sweatpants sent sparks up my spine. Ryan's hands, tucked under his chin, slowly opened. One slid out, found my calf, rested there. Warm, steady, not grabbing. Just holding. The contact burned through the fabric. I didn't pull away. "Feels incredible," he breathed. "Don't stop." I didn't. My hands moved in wider arcs now, thumbs pressing into the sides of his hips, brushing the elastic band again and again. Each pass felt bolder, more reckless. His breathing matched mine, short, ragged. I could see the tension in his shoulders, the way his fingers curled against the couch. Then he lifted his hips, just a fraction, and the thick outline beneath the gray cotton became impossible to ignore. My mouth went dry. My core throbbed. I should have stopped right there. Instead I leaned forward, breasts brushing his back through my thin shirt, and let my hands slide beneath the waistband. Skin met skin. No more pretending. The line was gone. The moment my fingers slipped under the waistband, everything shifted. No more excuses, no more half measures. His skin was fever hot, smooth over hard muscle. I traced the upper curve of his ass, then lower, bolder. Ryan sucked in a sharp breath and pushed his hips up into my touch. The invitation was unmistakable. "Fuck," he whispered, voice thick. "Keep going." My heart slammed against my ribs. I hooked my fingers into the elastic and tugged the sweatpants down just enough. He lifted to help, and the fabric slid past his thighs. He was bare underneath, thick, heavy, already straining upward. The sight sent a fresh rush of wetness between my legs. I stared for a second, mesmerized, guilty, aching, then wrapped my oiled hand around him. He groaned deep in his throat, hips jerking into my grip. I stroked once, slow, feeling every vein, every pulse. The sound he made was raw, desperate. My other hand pressed into his lower back, holding him still while I worked him with long, deliberate pulls. Oil made it slick, obscene. His breathing turned ragged, matching the rhythm I set. I couldn't stop looking at the way his body responded. Muscles flexing, fingers digging into the cushion, the small involuntary thrusts he couldn't hold back. It was intoxicating. Well, perfect. He turned his head again, voice hoarse. "Come here." I hesitated only long enough to kick off my leggings and panties in one clumsy motion. Then I straddled him properly, knees sinking into the couch on either side of his hips. He reached back, fingers finding my wetness, sliding through the folds, circling my clit with surprising skill. I gasped, hips bucking against his hand. "You're soaked," he murmured, almost reverent. "For me." The words broke something inside me. I lifted, positioned myself, and sank down in one slow, burning slide. He filled me completely, thick enough to stretch, long enough to hit every sensitive place. We both froze for a second, breathing hard, adjusting to the impossible reality of it. Then I started moving. Slow at first, rocking my hips in shallow circles. Every grind sent sparks through me. His hands gripped my thighs, guiding, urging me faster. I leaned forward, palms braced on his back, using the leverage to take him deeper. The angle was devastating. I could feel him everywhere. hitting that spot over and over until my vision blurred. He thrust up to meet me, strong, controlled, matching my rhythm. The couch creaked beneath us. Skin slapped against skin. The room filled with wet sounds, heavy breaths, the occasional broken curse. I felt the pressure building fast. Too fast. My nails dug into his shoulders. "Ryan, come for me," he growled. "Let me feel it." That did it. The orgasm hit like a wave, ripping through me, clenching around him hard. I cried out, body shaking, riding it out while he kept thrusting, chasing his own release. A few more deep strokes and he followed. Hips locking, a low, guttural moan as he pulsed inside me, filling me with heat. We stayed like that, locked together, panting, trembling. My forehead rested against his back. His hands still gripped my thighs like he was afraid I'd disappear. The aftershocks rippled through us both. And in that suspended moment, nothing else existed. The room settled into heavy silence. My thighs still trembled around his hips, slick with sweat and everything else we'd done. Ryan's chest rose and fell beneath me in long, uneven breaths. His hand stayed on my legs, not gripping anymore, just resting there like he didn't know what came next either. I lifted myself off him slowly, wincing at the sudden emptiness. A warm trickle followed, sliding down my inner thigh. I didn't look down. Couldn't. Instead I grabbed my discarded leggings, wiped myself quickly, then pulled them back on with shaking fingers. The fabric stuck to damp skin. Ryan rolled onto his side, sweatpants still bunched around his knees. He watched me without speaking, eyes dark and unreadable. I sat on the edge of the couch, back to him, elbows on knees, face in my hands. The lavender scent was everywhere, cloying now, mixed with sex and guilt. My wedding ring felt like lead on my finger. I twisted it once, twice, then stopped. He reached out, fingertips brushing my lower back. Gentle. Careful. "Hey!" Flinched anyway. "You okay?" His voice was soft, almost tender. I laughed, a short, bitter sound. "Am I okay? I just fucked my stepson while my husband's out of town. So yeah, I'm great." He didn't pull his hand away. Instead he sat up, pants tugged back into place, and shifted closer. Not crowding. Just there. "You didn't force me. I wanted it. I've wanted it for months." The confession landed like a stone in my stomach. The casual touches, the lingering glances, the way he'd started wearing less around the house. It hadn't been accidental. He'd been waiting, testing. And I'd failed every test. "I'm married," I said mostly to myself. "This doesn't change that." "No. But it happened." He paused. "And I don't regret it." I turned to face him then. His hair was messy, lips swollen from biting them earlier. He looked younger than 22 in that moment. Vulnerable, almost hopeful. It made the ache in my chest worse. "I do," I whispered. "Not because it wasn't good. Because it was." His jaw tightened. He nodded once, slow. "So what now?" Had no answer. The clock on the wall ticked toward midnight. His father's flight landed in 3 days. 3 days to pretend nothing had changed. 3 days to scrub the smell of him off my skin, to fold the blanket we'd ruined, to smile when the front door opened. I stood up, legs unsteady. "I need a shower." He didn't try to stop me. Just watched as I walked toward the hallway. At the doorway I paused, back still to him. "If you want this to be the only time," I started, then faltered. "Tell me now." Silence stretched. Long enough that I thought maybe he'd changed his mind. Then, quiet but certain. "I don't want it to be the only time." My eyes closed. A fresh wave of heat bloomed low in my belly. Traitorous, unstoppable. I didn't turn around. Didn't answer. I just kept walking. The water would be cold by the time I got there. I didn't care. Some things you can't wash away.